dog in your life is thinking? Well, join me, Liz Murdoch, animal communicator, talking with the dogs and finding out what dogs want people in their lives to know and understand. I've spent my life talking and listening to animals. So if you consider yourself a dog person or just happen to have a dog, I'm here to help you learn how to talk or listen to the dogs in your life. I chat with people too, sharing stories and tips on exactly how animal communication or being a dog whisperer makes an impact at home or when working with the dogs. So welcome to Talking with the Dogs podcast, a place where we uncover exactly what dogs want us to know and celebrate that every dog has a story.
Hello. I've got 3 dogs staring at me.
Oh, and I have one talking.
So I'm with Shannon now, and we're going to talk about cooking with the dogs and making the special treats that are also like a meal replacement for your dog. This came up because I had a chat session with Shannon, and what did Layla say to us that you remember? What did she say?
She was appreciative because I didn't just give her her meals, but she got treats throughout the day, like little morsels throughout the day that kept her interested and engaged and just excited.
Yes, and she told me that she said you were really good at it and that you could help people. That's what she wanted you to know, is that you could help people understand how to feed their dog better and make it fun. So she sort of said that, she did say that in the beginning when we were talking about favorite things. And then at the end, when I asked her what she wanted you to know, she brought it up again. and I think she said something that she wanted to be in the media.
She did.
So we're giving her a chance. Let's say a quick hello to Layla. We try not to interrupt her. Hello, Layla. We are doing what you asked. We are glad you got another treat. All right. Well, we are very busy.
She won't have that the day of.
Okay. So, Shannon, you're going to show us what it is you do to make it interesting for Layla and her food, because she has dietary needs. Can you tell us about that?
The thing about Layla is she is extremely sensitive. She's had a lot of stomach issues. So about a year ago, I found out that she's essentially allergic to everything. And she has to be on a very strict diet or she gets very, very sick. This is a dog who had every single treat, constantly was engaged and was eating every type of protein you can imagine. So finding this out, I had to find a way to keep her engaged. So now I have a kibble that's hyperallergenic and I have a wet food that's hyperallergenic. So finding out that I would have to find ways to use the Kong because she loves her Kongs. So what I've done is I've bought Kongs of all different sizes. So for example, I call them all Kongs, but it's not all from the Kong company. I have large ones and I have small ones. I fill them typically over the weekend, and I do a mixture of both the wet food and the kibble. It doesn't have to be exact, and just layer on top. So kibble, wet food, and then I freeze it over the weekend. And then when I'm going to the office, typically after I leave, I'll feed her breakfast in the morning, but then I will give her one of the larger Kongs, and she'll eat it and she'll be happy. Now that I'm working from home with the pandemic, I've been giving her smaller ones throughout the day. To make sure that I'm not overfeeding her in the morning, I use a slow feeder, and then I only give her a portion of what is her allotted food for the day, so that all of these meals are actually adding up to what she's supposed to eat throughout the course of a day.
So does she have her favorite ones?
The Kongs are definitely her favorite. We alternate them because there's different types. So this one's called a Westquaw Topo. So they're individual and you can stuff them, but then you can also put them together, and then the dog has to figure out taking them apart. Just the regular Kongs themselves, these are the Zizzle, I think it's called, and you can actually throw it they can interlace, so the dog has to unlatch it.
Right.
And the food is in the middle. We're not at that level yet, but we're figuring it out. But then one other thing that we do is puzzles. So here's an example of one that Layla loves. So I just put one piece of kibble in each of the different compartments, and she has to take this part out, and she usually paws at it. So there's one piece of kibble there. She opens this compartment, and then she slides it down. And she has to do that for each of these boxes. And she's figured it out pretty quickly.
That's good. Now, she said one of the things I remember from our conversation with Layla is that you're really good at mixing up her food. But what was interesting is she thinks you're mixing it up, but it's actually the same food. So you just prepare it at different consistencies with the same ingredients.
Yeah, so I'm not particular about this needs to be exactly half and half. I just kind of put in a little bit and then get it to exactly how much, not exactly, but where I think it's full enough, and then I freeze it. So I freeze it over the weekend and then just grab them whenever I need them.
Interesting. So because she likes that variety, so that if you have, say, a cup of food, one day it might have half of one ingredient and half of another, but the next day it might be 3/4 and 1/4, so that it tastes different and it's interesting to her, but she's still getting the nutrients that she needs.
Yeah, because both the kibble and the wet food are the same hypoallergenic. It's just a different consistency, and she loves them both.
Yeah, because she made a big deal. I remember you were perplexed when I kept saying that she was telling me that she loves the food and you mix it up and make it interesting, and you were saying, well, I feed her the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, but you're doing something to make it interesting. So we had to dig to get you to figure out what was interesting about it. And it's these toys.
Yeah.
Okay. So you make it simple. So if someone wants to do this at home with their dog, they can, on a Saturday afternoon or whenever, make them all at once and then freeze them for the week.
Yeah, so you just grab one. Some people only give their dogs one a day. When I know that she's going to be having multiple, I just give her the smaller ones, and I make sure not to give her much breakfast in the day. If I'm going to be gone most of the day, I'll give her a full breakfast and maybe a larger one as her dinner. So I figure it out as I'm going. I'm not super meticulous about what she's getting and when, but I just make sure that I'm not overfeeding her or underfeeding her. So I keep track of what I'm doing each day.
Okay. Now, what about the heavy chewers? Some people have dogs that are heavy chewers. Have you ever had to worry about her destroying something or ingesting part of the toy?
So Layla's not a super heavy chewer, but all of these toys, a lot of them can be purchased for heavy chewers. So I know, for example, Kong has the black Kong. That's for heavy chewers.
Okay.
I'm not endorsing any of them because I've never had to use them. Layla's my first dog. This green one was recommended for heavy chewers, even though Layla's not one.
Right.
But definitely do research about which ones can stand up to heavy chewers.
Okay. Or practice when you're home with them, so you're not leaving them home alone.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we talked about she can eat something that's in a Kong and you don't have to worry about her going to the bathroom, but that's another thing someone might want to make sure of, that they don't give too much food if they're going to leave them alone with it and not have a chance to go to the bathroom within an hour or so, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you just stuff them with this different amounts depending on the day. You've got a variety of toys and you freeze them. And what about mess? Can they go in the dishwasher?
They can go in the dishwasher. I typically just throw them in the sink with some Dawn, let them sit there for a little, and then rinse them out.
Okay.
But they're all dishwasher safe.
Totally fine. And then she can chew. Are they messy in the house? Does she have to lay on a towel or?
Sometimes there's slobber everywhere, but she typically eats them on my area rug, so I can just wash them quickly.
Okay. So it's an easy tip that many people could do as a way of mixing it up and making food interesting.
Yes.
So if you were to have people come over to the house or you had an important call and you wanted her to just be busy, would you give her one as a treat?
Yeah.
Okay. And it
so
works
that's
great.
Quarantine.
This is really good. Well, I think that every dog owner would want to know about this. Just as backup, when a guest comes over, something to occupy your dog, if it's not an everyday thing.
Poor thing, I call them right now.
Oh yeah, is she just testing, or she needs one? I think she says she needs one. She deserves one. Hi there.
What is she saying?
Yeah, she says she needs one. Come on, just give me one. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful too. And I think it could help a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm amazed. People don't know what their dogs are thinking, and they're going to go back to work. And it's like, if they know, I've already tested it beforehand. It's non-destructible. It makes her happy. She's going to sleep. Now, what about going to the bathroom though? She's not like, I have a dog that he goes to the bathroom after he eats. Is she able to eat it while you're at work and not go to the bathroom?
So the house Layla was in before me, they would keep her in for like 12, 13, sometimes 14 hours. And
Oh my gosh.
It was awful. So she is fine. She's never had a problem. Typically I let her out in the morning and I'm not gone more than 8 hours. I'm usually gone like 7.5, 8, but I come back, and sometimes if I'm gone even longer, I have someone come over and let her out. But that would be something for people to keep in mind. She's a dog that doesn't need to go out right after she eats. Okay.
All right. That's the only thing. In this small one, is there very much food in it?
Not really. So what I do is, this is actually marketed for small dogs. So I buy the wrong sizes on purpose, but I mix it up, and I do, because the wet food is a lot more expensive than the kibble. So I put the kibble in, and then I put like a scoop of wet food, a bit more kibble, and then another tiny scoop of wet food, and then I compress it. So,
and then you freeze it.
And then I freeze it. So,
wow.
And then it saves money in the long run too, because rather than stuffing this whole thing with wet food, it's a mixture of both. And then every time I do it, it's a little bit different. So
see, that's what she said she liked. Now, when you, the kibble, you had to find the right kibble for her, right?
Yeah. So she's on a hydrolyzed diet. So essentially it's broken down so small that it's not even recognized as protein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we thank Layla. She's still busy with the Kong that she was on.
She is.
Wow. So this is a great way to buy time to occupy your dog.
Oh, she's done.
Yeah. Hi. How is that? She's so happy.
Hi, sweetie.
Big smile. I think it's interesting, and I think you're really good at this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe, listen to the podcast, and remember, every dog has a story. Thanks for tuning in to Talking with the Dogs. Hope today's episode made you want to understand your own dog better and appreciate that every dog has a story and something to say. Subscribe now for more dog stories and insights into animal communication and what it's like to be a dog whisperer. Review this episode on Apple Podcasts or follow Talking with the Dogs on Instagram or Facebook and sign up for a chance for you and your dog to be a guest on the show. Whatever you do, I hope you'll spend time talking with the dogs.